All right. Hello, everybody. Hi out there. Hello. Welcome to yet another Solace Office Hours. I am Aaron from Solace. Happy to be back. First Office Hours of 2024, actually. So happy New Year. Happy Year of the Dragon. I'm back in Singapore. And yeah, it's February 28th. I was hoping to actually do this tomorrow on the leap year, on leap day. How often do we get to do videos live on leap February 29th? But anyway, whatever. So today we have a bit of a different type of office hours. I've never done one of these before. So we're going to do Developer Advocates React to the most recent Solace product update that came out about 2 weeks ago. And for that, I am going to be joined by my colleagues Giri and Tamimi. I'm going to welcome you to the stage. Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going? Hey Aaron, thanks for having us today.
All right. Okay. So we are 3 of 5 developer advocates at Solace. Unfortunately, missing will be Hari, who's based in the Netherlands, who's probably asleep right now, and Mark, our boss, who might be actually watching it. He might be out there somewhere. So, guys, why don't you introduce yourself real quick before? I'm sure most people know you, but say hello.
Sounds good. Hey everyone, I am Tamimi, developer advocate from Solace. And I am based in Vancouver, Canada, and today is February 27th. So I am in the past.
You're in the past, man.
So Aaron, please tell me how tomorrow looks like for me. And
pretty good.
I like being able to time travel on these kind of calls. So this is an exciting opportunity to talk to someone in the future.
Hello from the future.
Yeah, hello from the future. That's me.
Yep. Hey, this is Giri Venkatesan. I'm also a developer advocate, cohort with the gang here, and I'm based out of Bangalore, and I am in the future, 28, and probably Aaron is a lot further in the future.
Nice.
That's right. Well, good morning to you, Giri. It's about 8:30 in the morning. It's 11 a.m. here in Singapore. Tamimi, I guess it's 7 or 8 there.
Correct. It's 7 p.m. in Vancouver.
Yeah. Not too bad. So hello to all of you watching. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and on X. If you're watching us live, that's great. Say hello. Tell us where you're joining us from. We always do these things globally. If you're watching the replay afterwards on YouTube or LinkedIn, thanks very much for checking this out. So I hope you find this interesting. But like I said, we're rather than kind of having somebody from PLM on or doing a demo or talking about a new feature, we're gonna. If you happen to miss the product update that was a couple weeks ago, we're gonna watch it together and we're gonna chat about it, right, guys? So I'm hoping everybody. Well, I don't know. Did you guys actually catch it live when it went out, or did you?
I personally watched the recording. Yeah, I watched the
recording too.
For it. Yeah.
So watching everything live is sometimes difficult. So and especially the Solace product update went out kind of during North America daytime hours. So pretty much a lot of people in Asia Pacific wouldn't have got to see it live. If they watched the recording, great. If you haven't watched it, that's what we're here for today. So we're going to watch it again together and we're going to just talk about a few things. So anyway, come say hello. Tamimi, do you want to kind of like keep an eye on the comments? Because I got a couple of different things going on.
I'll keep an eye on the comments, and we see a couple people joining us from LinkedIn and from YouTube.
We got a few people here.
That's exciting. I'll keep an eye on this, and while you have things getting ready on your end. Derek.
All right. Hey, Derek. All right. So Derek is based in Melbourne, almost 3 hours ahead of Singapore. So not often tuning into things, but it's the middle of the afternoon there. So that's great. Nice. Hi, Derek. Yeah. How's it going? Good to have you rocking it live. Yes, we are rocking it live. Running Roach. Welcome back. Hey, how's it going? I hope you probably got this on at work on a different tab in the background there. But it's not evening time for you. Nick from Georgia. Hello. Good evening. Good evening to you. Thanks for joining. All right. So, guys, I don't know. Should we kind of so what we're going to do is I've kind of chopped up the video into pieces. We're going to kind of watch it in pieces, kind of talk about it. If you have questions, put them in the chat. We'll do our best to answer. One thing I am going to kind of if you want to watch the actual real thing kind of live, I'm just going to put it in the chat here right now. I'm going to just be dropping a bunch of links into the chat during today's broadcast. So if you want to see the kind of the live version, I'm going to be just putting in links like there. So, okay. So
Perfect.
you guys can see that work that went through?
Went through on our end as well.
Okay, so the Solace product update was hosted by our boss's boss, our CTO, Sean McAllister. So you're going to be seeing a lot of him during these, and we're going to be just kind of talking about what he talks about, and then looking at a bunch of demos from the various guys from the PLM, from the product line management group. So without further ado, shall we just jump into it, dudes?
Let's go. Yeah,
All right,
jump into it, Aaron.
Let's add my screen first. And so let's just do a bit of an intro here with Sean.
Now, moving on to the first topic, where I'd like to just talk about event-driven integration for a second, because so many of our customers use our platform to do integration in real time.
Integration is a
pretty
big thing.
Well, you need to be able to discover your events and design and deploy your applications.
Here's our pillars.
On top of a very high-performance event routing infrastructure, and then have operational visibility of your infrastructure to keep it up and running and make sure that it's performing well. And then from an event-driven integration point of view, you then also need to be able to manage event-driven APIs, because APIs are very associated with integration, and then have event-driven integration assets, which we're going to talk about more in this webinar.
We're going to be talking a lot of things about event-driven integrations.
It's going to be a lot of event-driven everything.
And event monitoring for some time now. And we're adding capabilities for event-driven API management and event-driven integration, like I say, that we're going to talk about in this webinar.
That's right. Oh, too bad it doesn't stay on the last frame, because that's kind of what I want to show. So obviously, yeah, this is our, the event portal, which we released several years ago, and we've kind of about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we did version 2. So our event portal, where you can design and discover, catalog your event-driven applications, their interactions. We'll see a bit of a demo about that a little bit later on, including
there's a lot of cool things. A lot of cool things with the event portal. I can't wait to as well. Like
they've brought back the graph view. That was a big thing from version 1, and they finally brought it back.
And obviously, there's a lot of cool things with it.
Auto layout. The messy diagram gets organized for more visibility. That's beautiful.
Yep. Event mesh, obviously talking about the brokers, connecting up your brokers together. That has been our core Solace thing for ever. And event monitoring, we're going to, obviously we have insights as part of the Solace Cloud platform for, monitoring, but we're going to talk about distributed trace a little bit. And down at the bottom, you're going to be hearing a lot about event-driven integrations over the next year or so as we kind of build some stuff out there. And I think Giri's going to talk a little bit more about that later on, right? So, yeah. All right. So let's throw up the next section, and Sean's just going to talk about the agenda for the rest of the presentation here.
So what are we going to walk through here? Well, so today I'm going to walk you through a few things that we have recently released throughout 2023.
Recent features.
Talk about declarative configuration of our brokers. We're going to talk about self-service provisioning with an event portal, enhancements to our integration strategy, and then what session like this would be complete without talk of AI, but our demo of AI will blow you away. It's awesome. So you want to stick around for that. And we have demos for each of these 4 areas.
So yeah, there's our agenda. So summary of recent features. So there's a couple of things that we're not going to have a big demo on. So every one of those 4 bullet points at the bottom, there's a demo on that, and we're gonna see that. We're gonna watch it together. But yeah, the summary of recent features. What's not on this list? Anybody want to guess what? For those who didn't see the live product update, any guesses as what might be on the summary of recent features? Our big things that we did last year. Put it in the chat if you
see what people would
if you have a guess
about this. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on
it. When I was watching this, I did guess, and I got 2 of them, but I missed 1. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna see some demos. Obviously the 3 middle ones there, dSEMP, event portal, and the enhanced integration. These are all kind of features that we're building. And then the last one, which I do hope you stick around for, is with our chief AI officer, Ed Fonacutter. He built this demo, and it is very cool. It's not a product. We don't have AI yet in the broker doing cool things, but I hope you stick around for that. So, okay, shall we do the recent features? Let's take a look. Let's see what some of the things that we did. Yeah.
Now, if I first jump into what we've done
partition
in 2023,
queues,
and I can't walk you through everything we've done, as we've delivered over 75, important features.
75 features.
We've pushed over 120 changes to our SaaS. But I did want to talk
about we've done in a year, Aaron.
So 120 features to 120 changes to SaaS. So the Solace Broker, you know, people are used to the cadence of about once every 3 months, I think, 2 months, 3 months, we roll out a new broker like version, right? But the SaaS Solace Cloud is continually getting upgraded. I mean, it's a true kind of, you know, continuous integration, continuous deployment type model. So I mean, every time you log into the Solace Cloud, there's probably something changed in there that you might know or notice or not notice, but it's continually evolving. It's quite impressive.
We delivered in particular, one of them being partition queues, which allows you to horizontally scale your microservices while maintaining order of the events as they originally occurred. And this is a lot, and this is Solace's answer to consumer groups, which we think has many advantages over Kafka consumer groups.
So partition queues, I took a big interest in that last year. I did a bunch of testing. I did a demo and a video about that. I'm just going to, again, drop a couple links here in the chat because people might want to learn a little bit more about these things. So I did an office hours with Rob Tompkins from PLM team, all about partition queues. This was actually about a year ago when I did this. So, you know, not much has changed with regards to that. They've hardened it up and added some performance benefits. So that's pretty cool. And if you want to see it in action, I wrote a demo. It's all on GitHub if you want to go and actually play with it yourself. A couple of our colleagues have used it in, you know, kind of presentations to customers, but it's a JavaScript kind of dashboard, and you can see the partition queues actually changing partitions and consumers adding and coming and going and message rates and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just throwing a couple links there in the chat. So if you want to see more about partition queues, go check those out. Yeah. What about the next one? Distributed trace.
For people who are not seeing the links on LinkedIn, whatever Aaron is talking about and sharing these links, you could easily check them out as well on our YouTube channel when you look at the office hours for partition queues and any partition queues demos. So we could jump into the next one as well.
Yeah, so thanks to me for just that. Like I didn't know that the chat's not working on LinkedIn. That's not great. But I will, after we're done live here today, I will go and edit the description on YouTube and put all of these links in a nice little kind of in the description. So they'll all be there. People can just go and check. That is our youtube.com. I don't know the URL, but I've also made a little QR code. I'm just going to cover up Sean's head here for a second. So if you have your phone, scan that. It goes right to our YouTube channel. I know that on LinkedIn, our social team posts a lot of stuff, and so it can be often quite a lot of notifications. But YouTube, we only post a video maybe at most once a week, maybe twice a month. So please, you know, subscribe, put your notifications on so you can always hear about, you know, videos that we do. Our team obviously produces quite a few of the videos that go onto our YouTube channel. So yeah, check out the YouTube channel. It's we just passed 3,000 subscribers, which I was quite happy about, and it was. So, you know, we're growing here. So, okay, next one, distributed trace. Let me just hide these things here. All right.
We deliver distributed tracing, which allows you to see exactly where events have flowed within your event mesh and throughout your enterprise by emitting data from the brokers themselves. And we're the only enterprise broker to be able to do that and to give you that kind of open telemetry visibility. We release.
So distributed trace, I mean, the very first version of it was released more than a year ago because I have an office hours here with Steve Chan, and we talked about it, but it's continued to evolve, right, guys? I mean, like every couple broker releases, they've added more distributed trace stuff.
Yeah. Distributed tracing is something that's kind of like pretty near and dear to my heart as well. Our support for distributed tracing, we've been adding a lot of new cool features, whether it's from context propagation on the API level or even generation of spans for different events within the broker itself. Every new feature of the broker that comes up, we add new supports for distributed tracing. And we have a lot of cool things as well from an API perspective on distributed tracing. So definitely check out the links that Aaron posted right now.
I'm dropping
more links.
Tamimi's playlist here covers some of the stuff about distributed tracing. I've just put a link into there. And there's a couple other ones. There's a couple demos. I guess the most probably biggest recent one was the send span, which is, you know, once the broker sends messages to the consumers will either ACK or NAC those messages, those will get emitted as open telemetry spans, showing the kind of what happened on those, which queue, which consumer pulled a message off which queue, and whether it was ACT or NAC, and all the timestamps involved with that, right? So yeah, it's pretty cool. Very, very good visibility into your guaranteed messaging flows.
Integrated Kafka bridge, which allows our broker to connect to a Kafka cluster with nothing in the middle, which means that the performance, the reliability, and the overall simplicity of that integration is very high. So you can have operational events on Solace and analytics on Kafka, pull them all together into one deployment. And
so that last one, I have one more office hours with the integrated Kafka bridge, again with Rob Tompkins from PLM. But during his demo on dSEMP, he slips in a bit of integrated Kafka bridge. So we're going to see a bit of it live in action. He's kind of combined his demos here. So we're going to see it. Oh, we got a question here from Running Roach. Let's just throw it up on screen here. That consumer level span, is that available in which Solace LTS version?
So I believe on 10.5 onward. So the consumer level span, like whether it's received on 10.5 onward, it's there. So once you get that broker version, you'll be able to.
But 10.5 is not an LTS version, right? So
I believe then 10.4 will have it. Yes, I think you're right. Aaron,
yeah. Check the release notes, Running Roach. It'll be in there. I can't remember exactly when it was released, so it might be in 10.4.1, which I'm pretty sure is an LTS version. If any Solace people are out there listening and know the answer, please put it in the chat. Let us know. Or if someone can find that while we're doing here, I'm sure we can answer that question. Last one, Event Portal for Kafka.
Event Portal has then been enhanced to support Kafka as well, so you can have a single place to see all of your events over Solace and Kafka.
Right. Okay. So that is our kind of recent features. I got a bunch of office hours, a bunch of links put into the chat there. I'll put them in the description afterwards. So we have, we've covered most of these things. Event Portal, I haven't done an office hours on that recently. So I think that's probably going to be sometime this first quarter. Probably maybe next month we'll do an office hours on Event Portal. All the new features that they've been adding. So, all right, guys, let's get into the three kind of main parts of this video. The first one is going to be all about declarative SEMP, and I'm just gonna roll it. All right,
let's go.
So now if I jump into our first demo, which is declarative configuration.
Yep.
Now, Solace event brokers have had many ways to be configured, right? So we have a CLI like many others, but we have a beautiful GUI that you can use to configure the broker, and it has many wizards that you can use as well to make configuration easy.
A beautiful GUI. We also have an ugly GUI for those that still use solid min. We have two GUIs actually. So yeah, I guess Sean didn't want to clutter up this diagram with too many things, but
we also have a RESTful API called SEMP, the Solace Element Management Protocol, which is great to gather stats and status
V1 and V2. We have two versions of SEMP for different.
But SEMP is imperative as a mechanism, as an interface, meaning that you tell the broker through SEMP the objects you want to create or the attributes you want to change. You have to do this sometimes in a certain order, and it's not atomic. So if something goes wrong, you have to manage the rollback yourself. But now, with more and more developers rightfully turning to DevOps or GitOps,
we have fans
wanting to use infrastructure as code, we want to support a more declarative method of configuring our brokers. So a declarative
versus imperative.
What you do is you declare the end state you want, and you don't worry about what's the current state of the broker, what order do you have to make changes in, how do you roll back. Sounds great, right? Well, so that's what we're doing with dSEMP. And dSEMP is declarative SEMP. And that is an infrastructure as code solution that works with Terraform for declarative configuration of Solace hardware, software, and configuration of your brokers. And I'm really excited about dSEMP, and so many reasons why, right? So for developers, dSEMP is a much simpler configuration way to configure your brokers for all of your apps, and it follows standard CI/CD processes and toolings. You can promote across environments with.
Tamimi, are we going to see that in a demo coming from you at some point? I know you've been working on some Terraform promoting of cross-environment stuff. Yep.
Yeah, we'll see a demo coming up soon, so stay tuned on this.
Yes. All right, cool.
And ensure that your target state is what you want. For middleware teams, it's great because you can give a standardized, easy to use templates for your developers and empower them to have
self-service portals will be
the
so much easier with
guardrails of
this.
GitOps processes. But enough about me talking, right? So let's get to the demo, and we're going to show you
demo time.
So this demo is quite technical. So just be, get ready. But it's the fact that you can just basically say, this is the state I want. I don't care what's already there, and the broker and everything, the Terraform figures it all out and changes everything the way you want. I mean, I've written a lot of tooling over the years for Solace, CLI scrapers and SEMP v1 tooling that goes and looks at this broker and is that the same as this broker, and are these VPNs the exact same, and checking what a pain in the butt. I'm sure a lot of customers out there have probably done the same thing. And so this is next level, it was kind of like when we introduced config sync for HA pairs, because it used to be you had to apply the config on both sides.
Imperative and declarative approach of things, I've always been heavily involved with just imperatively declaring things, but the other way of doing configuration for infrastructure is pretty cool to get much more into it when we get into the Terraform and dSEMP portions.
Yeah, for me, one thing that caught my attention is this declarative nature is without any loops. That's the definition of declarative, right? So if you give a loop, DevOps or a programmer, they can make a mess of things, right? So I think it's a great way of managing your configuration, definition, execution, provisioning, all the way to visibility. Very good.
Yep. All right, so let's roll the demo. I'm going to throw up some links to things that Rob talks about during the demo. I'm just going to put them in the chat as we go here.
Hi, Declarative SEMP with Solace currently offers 2 beta products on the Terraform registry. They're both providers. One is a Solace broker provider that works with the software broker and with PubSub plus Cloud, and Solace Broker Appliance, which works with our appliances. I want to thank everybody for the strong interest in this beta, as we've had over 1,500 different downloads at this time. So thanks. In addition, I want to go over a couple of additional use cases that I didn't cover previously in my deep dive on Declarative SEMP with Terraform. You can find that video on Resources Videos, Declarative SEMP with Terraform IAC,
or in the chat
in the solace.com website. So in that original demonstration, I showed you
the ball demo
app team building something similar to this, 3 different sources.
Colored ball.
The gift that keeps on giving, Aaron.
So we have 3 publishers here that generate different types of things.
Terraform with the
different colored balls.
And here, what we're going to do is add an analytics section. Now, this analytics is being generated from systems that are connected over Kafka. So what we're going to do.
So he slipped in some Kafka bridge stuff here.
Person's personality here and adjust this broker that has been designed by an app team to add integrated Kafka bridge to pull in these analytics. And we'll send these events into the analytics, and it'll generate an event for each event received and send them back to that broker.
So so basically we have generate events. These messages are being generated. They're going into the broker. They're popping out and getting kind of filtered into different things, but they're also going to be going over into Kafka. Kafka is going to do some analytics. And then every once in a while, Kafka is going to spit out some results back across the Kafka bridge into the Solace side. So Rob is kind of showing off the integrated Kafka bridge stuff, but he's going to configure it all magically using dSEMP and Terraform. So it's kind of it's a bit of a 2-thing demo here.
We're going to do all of this on PubSub plus Cloud today.
Yeah.
And the primary development broker is this one, Kafka Demo Order Management. So if we go into this broker and open Manager, you'll see all the different queues. But at this point, there is no Kafka bridge. So what I do next is I look at
So you're just proving that the broker isn't pre-configured with anything, right? There's like nothing there.
Where a person is using, and they've created an additional Terraform file to create that Kafka bridge. There's other Terraform files that are secret stuff, hiding the provider and the credential use here, but I want to focus on what the middleware team is actually developing for Kafka bridge here.
So this is our Terraform file. This is what's going to be used to actually build the configuration of
the
bridges, the queues,
and its associated topic binding. We've got.
And for those who are familiar with Terraform, this is kind of like a very typical Terraform format. Yeah. Like,
they all kind of look the same, I guess, eh?
Yeah, like as soon as I looked at this, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense for any Terraform configuration if you're used to using other providers.
Yeah.
So let's see that in action. All we have to do
PowerShell.
is go to that directory.
Let's
Power
go.
Windows user.
All the Power Windows users. When I saw this, I'm like, what is this?
Yes.
Understanding what needs to
The
be changed.
.NET
So
people
it's
apparently
recognized
love
six
PowerShell.
of them,
It's going to do some really cool stuff.
6
I've never learned
objects
it. I'm a DOS
have to be
person
added
from
to the
days
browser.
of
And you
long
just
ago, but
confirm with a yes.
so he's running the
you know,
provider now,
very
and he's passing in the
quickly
Terraform
spins up
file.
That configuration. So let's go back to
Done.
bridges and
Refresh.
data. And you can see.
So he's covering up the refresh button. It's behind his head there, but
Status up and a Kafka receiver.
magically all that config is just now here. Thank you to
So
the
let's
provider.
continue on with the application.
So now
this
the
has
data
been
should be
set
going
up,
across
generate a few
into
more messages.
Kafka.
They should go into the analytics. And when Kafka is got enough for a batch, it will send out a number of different messages.
Kafka is batch driven by default, right? By it. Oh, there it goes. Blop.
Ooh.
Messages were sent out. So the middleware application team has connected this broker to Kafka. Now that my application is verified and working properly with Kafka through integrated Kafka Bridge,
Yeah.
I want to migrate it from the dev environment into the staging environment.
Oh,
So
now
I
we're
call
doing
my CI/CD engineer,
promotions.
and
DevOps.
they provide
Yep.
So many things in
Kafka.
one demo, which is super
This
cool.
is a mega demo, Rob.
is complete at this point.
Mega demo. That's like level 9,000.
There are no
Over
features
9,000.
for any integrated Kafka bridge. So let's go fix
All right.
that.
So here's a staging environment. And as you can see, this broker again doesn't have anything configured.
The dev broker. So here we've got the provider, we've got the generate verb, the URL to the dev broker, the identify that we want the message VPN named Kafka Demo Order Management, and we want to put it in golden.tf.
So he's sucking down the configuration from the dev environment.
That's SEMP goes along and pulls in all different types of objects that could be in that message VPN.
Right.
And it creates golden.tf. So now we go to golden.tf and we look at it, and we need to take out things that were specific to the dev broker. So that includes its
admin is the username
and
password. Right.
credentials.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
Amazing.
we need to change the message VPN.
Sign me up.
Stage.
So he's manually editing the file a little bit because you might want to, change the VPN name. But other than that, all the configuration is exactly the
Instead
same.
of using Terraform CLI, you may want to use GitHub Actions.
Right.
GitHub Actions does a great job of integrating with Terraform, and you can see I'm using a repository generated from HashiCorp's Learn Terraform GitHub Actions. It generates a plan when you do a pull request, and once you commit, it actually applies that to your targeted staging broker.
So proving that it does work as part of standard CI/CD kind of pipelines here.
Configuration.
I mean,
There's our
that's
golden. So
ultimate
that's
goal,
our new
right?
golden file that we just pulled down.
Changes.
Tamimi, you probably know this stuff way better than I do. I'm sure you've been doing this stuff recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been working a lot with GitHub Actions, GitHub Workflows, and just kind of using all the different triggers from there. And the nice thing about this is like Terraform has a native GitHub action that you can just configure what you want with the provider that you want, and then directly hook this up into your own organization level, team level workflow on how you want your GitHub Actions to work. So the whole point behind this is to plug in our Solace provider in an already existing CI/CD workflow. So you might have tests, you might build things, you might want to like test a couple things and include this.
Again, this will take a couple of minutes. So with the magic of video,
magic of video editing, we're gonna jump ahead to that spot.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here you have it.
So this is our staging environment. You can see it says staging up there.
Worked, and we have
and without having to run the CLI. So this is all kind of auto magically done.
I hope you'll
by the
join us
actions.
on our
That's pretty cool.
Declarative SEMP beta. I look forward to your feedback. Thanks.
And Aaron,
Nice.
similar to what Sean mentioned as well just before this, there's different ways of doing this. You can either do it from the GUI, you could do it from SEMP APIs, or using the Terraform provider. And this Terraform provider uses a bunch of SEMP APIs behind the scenes to do all these actions.
Yep. I'm impressed with this video this demo because it was Terraform, dSEMP, integrated Kafka Bridge, GitHub Actions, and promotion. Well, I guess that's what Terraform is great for, is like pulling and pushing config. We saw it both directions there. So yeah.
And video.
And what?
Video editing, all in one
and some
video.
video edit. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the next video is we're going to be looking at what is it? Oh, it's the it's event portal. And so I think Tamimi, you're gonna show that one. Is that right?
Yep. I'll go.
All right. Let's add you. Let's switch to your video and let's see what we got
right.
here. So
we're gonna
next
go ahead
section
and start. Next section. Let's do it.
Now let's move to our next demo, which is self-service configuration through the event portal. And I first want to make you aware of some research that Gartner released. So in October, they released a new report that is a reference architecture for event-driven applications. And in it, they highlight here the importance of event governance and the need for a developer portal, event catalogs, schema management, and how critical that is to your success with EDA. And
I just got to point out, when Gartner releases thing, this is tool and company agnostic. So this has nothing to do with Solace, but they're saying that the importance of event governance in your event-driven architecture overall.
We at Solace could not agree more. And that is why 2 years ago or more is when we released our first version of the Solace event portal. And the event portal is this single place that architects and developers can collaborate to design event-driven applications, topics, and schemas, make them discoverable.
That's a version 1 screenshot.
Make sure that best practices
I guess now we can upgrade it to version 2. Now that we have the graphic
again. Reuse, right, by making them visible, discoverable, and
the icons
accessible.
changed, right?
So very important is this reuse factor. And it's also critical to be able to be efficient in developing event-driven applications. And we think that the event portal is critical for exactly that. So why is that? So let's say you want to build an application to send an email when an order gets shipped. So what's the first thing you do? Well, you head over to the event portal and you go into the catalog to be able to discover the event that will trigger you to send the email. Then you design your application, both obviously in software, but also the event-driven interfaces to your application, the configuration that you need for your event queue to consume your events. And from that, you can export async API from the event portal to code-gen a code stub for you. And so how's that for improving efficiency? Now, once you're done coding and you want to test, you promote to your dev and then staging and then production. And in the event portal, what that will help you do is to deploy your configuration onto the event broker. So your application can connect to the event broker and consume its events. Then over time, you want to be able to audit your runtime against what's in Event Portal, because unlike a Confluence page that gets stale, days or weeks after it's written, the Event Portal will always represent what is happening in your runtime because of this audit capability. And then, of course, over time, you're going to change and evolve that application. So you create a new version, and the cycle starts over again. Now, Event Portal supports all this capability.
So here, Sean's talking about promoting, dev, staging, production. Are we talking about event-driven apps, or are we talking about event-driven configuration on the brokers, or both? Or what do you think there?
Yeah, great question. So here, this is kind of pretty much Sean is talking about the overall workflow of an application itself. You're building an application or microservice in your already existing event-driven architecture, and then this application, it goes through different environments and different stages, whether a predefined dev, staging, production, or your own organization level environments. And as the application moves from environment to environment, you want to have this consistency throughout. And you'll see here, Sean talks about how when we started our journey and adventure on building Event Portal over the past 2+ years, we've been building every piece of this workflow that Sean is showing. And as we're
broker configuration. But I am so excited to show you what we have running in our labs today, and it has yet to be released.
So this has been a much requested and anticipated feature.
So
exactly, yeah. So with Event Portal, you could you could design and define and document and govern your applications, but there has always been a gap between the design, governance, documentation piece of event-driven architecture and the runtime aspect. And over the years, we've been bringing these two pieces together closer and bridging the gap between the design, governance, documentation piece that Event Portal does and the runtime that that the event broker gets. And this has been a much requested and anticipated features. And as you as we will tell you, that's kind of the things that we've been doing, like a lot of strategic investments on in the next coming quarters.
Just want to call out, that's feasible because of the async API. The moment you complete an EDA, right, your application or event API, design time can be converted into a spec. And from there, you are writing on the async API capabilities, basically the bridging the gap. Now you bring in the CI/CD, the one that we discussed previously, right? It's amazing from realizing from design time to runtime, you have a full coverage here.
Right, and you bring in a good point as well, Giri, about the async API spec. Like, yes, even if we're able to generate an async API specification off of the design time, it's still a specification. Like, yes, it's part of the specification, but there's still a gap in the specification to runtime. Like, that is the aspect, it's the runtime aspect. Like, yes, you can create an async API, we can automatically generate async API specification, but again, the specification is still in the bucket of design and defining and documenting.
It standardizes a way to do an audit, right? Of like what's already there versus the 100%.
Spec.
Yeah.
Right. So there's always been that like little gap that's left between this spec or design or documentation and the actual runtime piece. And this has been a much requested and anticipated feature to have within the event portal as well. And this is what kind of like Sean is alluding to, is with this feature, there's going to be like a lot of exciting enablement opportunities for this.
All right.
So you are all insiders, which is great. So the feature of Event Portal that we're going to demonstrate is the ability to configure your brokers based on what you have in Event Portal, and then to manage this from dev to pre-prod to prod.
This is pretty cool stuff. The Event Portal has been like kind of just
this is what allows
design only for the longest time, right?
The development teams to have easy access to the event data
Portal
that they have and to the infrastructure that they need to deploy and build and test their events. So let's get on to the demo. Roll the tape.
So I'm going to pause here a little bit. I'll roll the tape. I'll pause quickly here. And within the next couple of quarters that we're coming up from an event portal perspective, Solace, we're doing a strategic investments on two main aspects of event portal. We have a designer enhancements. So we're going to be enhancing the designer even much more to enable people to do much advanced and smooth and beautiful ways of designing event-driven architecture. And the second enhancement is self-service configuration. And this is what we're going to be showing you right now. So we're going to be focusing much more on the self-service configuration, where we bridge the gap between what Event Portal used to do and what it will start doing with a runtime aspect. So I'm going to roll the tape.
Terraform and dSEMP is, all right.
All right, Daryl, take it away.
Hi, my name is Daryl McRae, Product Manager for PubSub Plus Event Portal, and I'm excited to be here to show off the latest in broker configuration automation. That is, using the capabilities of Event Portal to provision your event brokers. As Sean mentions, this capability provides a simplified and self-serve method for developers to configure their brokers in their runtime environments, such that their application versions can connect to those brokers and access the events that they need. So let's jump right into the demo. So this is Event Portal. You have your designer area, your catalog, your runtime event manager, and your KPI dashboard.
Daryl talks so fast.
So let's drill into the runtime event manager, and you'll see the operational environments that we model and now can configure. So the dev environment, integration environment, and prod environment I have set up in this case with one event mesh in each environment. You could have more, but I have one. So let's drill into the development event mesh, and you'll see a graph of the event-driven architecture for all the apps interacting via events through the brokers in this environment.
Looks complicated.
Apps, the other tab, you get the list of events. So this order of services
is complicated.
Order services.
Honestly, Giri, like I'm glad you mentioned this, because EDA in general is very complicated, which kind of begs the discussion that, or the argument that you need to have tools that will facilitate the understanding of event-driven architecture. And for example, like Event Portal will help you with so many different challenging aspects of EDA, such as visualizing, documenting, and now here, let's say like you're an example. Yeah, there's so many apps and so many events. Imagine if you don't have an event portal, you would be documenting all these different applications and interactions. Visio diagrams and Confluence and like Excel sheets. Some people have used Excel sheets for different topics. So this all like brings it to bring
this order writer application is published,
which helps with collaboration and sharing the stuff around in a centralized place.
Inventory service, fraud service, order detail service, and email service. So in this demo scenario, a new feature comes in, so such that we can send out an email notification on shipment updates for customer orders. So what we're going to do is update the version of email service application to consume this shipment updated event, which is being.
And here I want to point out, like, look at this, the shipping service application. It does not have a line to the shipment updated event because it does not consume it right now. And we are in our development environment. So keep that in mind, because
it's being published but not consumed by anybody. That's what the configuration, that's what the design in the portal is currently knowing about it.
In development environments. Right now in development environment, we have an application called Shipping Service that publishes a shipping updated event, but no application subscribes to it.
Got it.
Being published by the shipping service in the shipping application domain. That service also publishes a shipping created event, but we're just going to consume this new shipment updated event. So if I drill into the details of this application, this is a read-only view of the application details. I click to open this application version in Designer, and I'm going to create a new version by duplicating this version. Call it 2.1 because we're adding a new feature. New email on shipment feature. You can give it a version comment. 2.1 adds shipping emails. And then here you can see.
I like it when somebody puts a comment on their
page. Subscribing to 100%. None of the shipping events. So let's manage events. We'll go to the shipping application domain. We can see the two events that are being produced by an application in that domain. Let's subscribe to this one. Close
subscribing
this dialog, and now we have.
So this is key. Right now, up until now, everything here, what we're doing is from a declaring perspective. So we're just designing the applications. This is all on Event Portal, design time. We're defining the interaction between the applications and events, even though we went here and we said, okay, this is the new version of email service that subscribes to a new event. That's all in design time. So nothing is really happening on runtime on the broker.
We have to create
this is the architect kind of just thinking about the next version.
Exactly.
That event. So we have, in this case, 4 queues already on or consumers on this application: email customers, email orders V1, and email payments. So let's create a new one. So we'll add a consumer. Let's call it email shipment updates. It's going to be a Solace event queue. You can also do direct messaging, but that's an event queue. And now we can configure the queue, add the configuration. This is the default and basically almost a minimum required to configure a queue. The name, whether it's exclusive or non-exclusive, and the ingress.
So we give you boilerplate for helping with the configuration here.
Enabled queue. So you can also give it a spool size. I'll give it 25 gig in this case, but you could also
more gigs.
Increase this file to thresholds for alerts, whether it respects TTL, the max TTL, everything you can configure on the queue.
Pretty much anything queue configuration you could do here as part of Event Portal, right?
Exactly. And you just put it directly here, the queue configuration. And as you mentioned, Aaron, this is kind of the default template. On the roadmap, what's coming up next, we're going to have support to configure templates as you want. So for example, if you want to give developers the ability to create queues for different levels, you want like gold, silver, bronze,
or
like
small, medium, large, or
small, medium, large, high, medium, low. So 1, 2, 3, like all these different levels. And you could definitely with advanced and enhanced role-based access control, you could give developers some ability to choose between different templated configuration and be like, okay, I'm going to create, or I want a queue that has these different properties on the broker.
A big one for development is enforcing TTL and expiring messages out of your queue that are like a day or a week old. Often in development, we'll have queues filling up because nobody's consuming from them. So yeah, having that as part of the template, like every development queue everywhere is always a max TTL of 1 week or something would be very helpful.
You cannot mess up. A template is the way to go. I like that.
Event. The event portal creates that subscription for you automatically. It'll even tell you in each environment what that subscription will attract. And so it is indeed attracting the shipment updated event in the dev environment. But you could actually check that out in other environments as well. So let me add that subscription, save the version of this application, the new version. It'll save as a draft application over here. 2.1 is a draft.
So here, I want to point out that, yeah, we created a new version of the application, but you see in the middle when it says environment, there's no environment. Yeah, it's still in design. And this new version of the application is not added to any environment.
Right.
And it isn't in any environment. So I will add it to the environment. So in this case, I select the environment. It's going to be the dev environment, the dev event mesh, and the specific broker I want to this application to connect to on that event mesh. So where I'm going to create the actual queue.
I wonder if you get a warning if you try to add it to production and it's not in dev or something, or dev is behind production. I wonder if
you don't even have the permission for that.
Yeah, with the states, because this is like on draft, and you cannot add any application that's draft to production unless.
That's cool. That's good.
Previous version, you can see that it'll give a preview and show what's to be added. So this shipment updates, email shipment updates queue and subscription will be created on the broker.
So this is the key thing that got added recently to Event Portal. So like anybody who's working on the Event Portal right now will not see this. This is the new feature is we're showing you that when you add this particular version of the application to the development environment.
Wait, so this is not released yet? This is still coming? Coming soon.
This is the coming soon. So this is the new version. And whoever's interested, we can give you access to it. But pretty much this will show you that once you promote or add this application version to your development environment, here's what's going to happen onto your broker. It tells you, like, it gives you a diff. It says that you're going to be creating a queue. Here's a subscription that is added to the queue. And here's the configuration of that queue. So I'm going to play 2 more minutes on this to show you like how would this be added. Giri, did you have a question?
Yeah, it may not be a diff, right? It's basically the change that you're imparting onto the system, a configuration.
Well,
but if the queue already existed and you're adding a subscription to an existing queue, it would probably just show you the sub, right, as a diff.
Exactly. It would only show you the subscription that's being added to the queue. Yeah.
Queue and subscription will be created on the broker in the runtime. So before clicking on add, I want to show you in the runtime that this queue doesn't exist on the broker. So this is the actual broker service. If I click on here, click on manage, click on queues, I'll go to the manager and get a list of queues already on that broker. So I have email customers, email owners, email payments, no email shipment updates.
For a demo anyway. That's not a lot of queues for a real broker.
I will click on add and it should add that new queue automatically to the broker. What it does is says now that that's been added to the dev environment.
So this is
added on the broker. If I actually go to the runtime event manager in my development event mesh, I can actually see the email service is now 2.1, and this version is indeed attracting the shipment updated event 0.1.0. To prove that it actually happened in the runtime, let's go back to the queue list, refresh it, and you will see the new email shipments updated. This is
with the subscription.
And here's the subscription that we just created.
Cool.
So this is critical. Now with this, we're able to merge the gap and close the gap between design time and runtime. In design time, we showed you how the map got updated, or your design got updated so that the new email service now subscribes to this new event. And also directly just with clicks on the event portal, this configuration gets provisioned and pushed onto your runtime. Pretty much, that's it. Click add, and it goes into your environment.
From Event Portal. So Event Portal will
just a curious question. Understand from a perspective of resource creation, what if you roll back to an older version or a new event?
Great question, Giri. So this also works.
I saw that last night.
If you have, so this also works. Like here, Dara right now showed us an addition of a version to a environment. Now, if you remove that version and added another one, and there's a deletion of resources, then these deletion of resources will also show in the diff that Daryl showed earlier. It will show you like, hey,
if you call it diff. Makes sense.
remove, exactly. That's why I call it a diff. If you want to remove that version of the application from that particular environment, then it would tell you this queue and these subscription or these resources and objects will be deleted from the broker. Yeah.
It's not part of this demo,
yeah,
but internally, Daryl did a demo of this last night, and he did the rollback, and that it works. It's cool. So you're like, oh, I don't want
to access the event flows that they've been approved to access.
We're handling that
publish
too.
And a subscribe perspective. If you'd like to get access to this feature and try it out yourself now, please contact your account representative and ask to be added to the beta program. Thanks.
So there you go.
Do we know when it's going to be released GA? Like, do you know when they're going to actually make it live?
So right now we're just doing the strategic investments to make it live soon. I don't know any particular dates.
Okay. So nothing firm.
Yeah,
right.
We don't know any particular dates around this, but this is like a super cool feature, and it has been a much requested and anticipated feature that people have been asking us about. And anyone who's watching us right now and watching this demo, if you're interested, feel free to reach out if you want to get if you want to get your hands on onto this feature early on, and we could add you to our EA customers. So that's it, folks, on this side of things, which is super cool. Yeah.
One comment from Nick here. We were talking about kind of having all this kind of event portal information spread around in different places, you know, Confluence or PowerPoint or Visio or Excel. And it's just tribal knowledge, you know, oral histories and things, you know, without an event portal solution. So, having the event portal is definitely becoming much more important to helping kind of keep track of all your apps and your interactions and stuff. So. Very cool. Thanks, Tamimi. That was awesome. Looking forward to more event portal. I definitely, like I said, I need to have an updated event portal office hours pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. Maybe next month or the month after, with all these cool new features, more of a deep dive. So next one, we're going to be talking about integrations. So event-driven integrations. Giri, I'm going to share your screen here because I think you're doing this section, right?
Yes, I am. How are we doing on the time?
Yeah, we're we're at the 50-minute mark. We got 10 minutes left. We'll run a bit over. If people want to stick around, that's great. Otherwise, let's watch this and.
No worries. I'll try to skip over wherever meaningful. See, the point is the integration is the central theme nowadays, right? It's been a pain from the.
That was how Sean led off, right? It's around real-time event-driven integration. Yeah.
Right. So it's like without the right tools, solving the problem of integration is like doing a Rubik's Cube in a dark room. You think you're making progress, but you're not. Historically looking at it, custom integration, and then this notion of EAI, B2B, middleware, SOA, web service, we have seen all those things. The closest one that's resembling modern solution is because of the APIs and microservices. And then we got our EDA. Now the whole integration can be reimagined with the power of real-time and the event mesh. That's the highlight. You would see in.
So now let's talk about enhanced integration capabilities.
Enhanced integration.
Now, real-time integration,
not just regular integration.
At the beginning is one of the key use cases that our platform is used for, and that's why we have so many APIs and standard protocols and connectors. And that's what we're going to be demoing next. Is our new suite of connectors and our connector manager. But first, let me explain something that you'll be hearing a lot more of from us in the upcoming weeks and months. And that is that today's integration technologies like ESBs and iPaaS, they use API calls and among the systems, and that really results in a coupled point-to-point orchestrated system, which at the end of the day can be pretty complex and have scalability and performance challenges, much like monolithic software applications that, as we all know, are being broken up into microservices.
Any disagreements?
Now, the approach to integration that we advocate actually is to turn integration inside out. And by that, we mean move connectors and integration capabilities to the outside edge of an event-driven core. And this is what moves you away from point-to-point coupled flows
and your transformations,
a distributed, decoupled environment that is much more robust, it's higher performance, it's simpler, and it's more scalable.
There's one point, if you notice, of course, we are breaking this point-to-point and bringing in this distributed, decoupled environment, but we're not talking about connecting to a single broker. It's not a single broker in the middle. It's a mesh, right? That's our Solace super.
It can be a single broker if you start small, but typically you're
But
deployed in different geos and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the fascination is it can be an event mesh. Now your options of the integration kind of goes beyond. I think he's going to be covering that.
Now, if you're going to do all this integration at the edge, you need to have a set of off-the-shelf connectors that are ready to integrate with the applications you want to integrate and with your event mesh, which brings us to the types of connectors that the Solace platform supports. So for a long time now, we've supported what we call broker integrated connectors. And so those live on the broker and they allow you from the broker to trigger a Google Run.
Mostly using RDPs, right?
Or as we talked about.
That's right. So it's tapping into the Solace native RDP sophistication. And if you notice this broker integrated, you're not even lifting anything. Just out of the box, click, click, click. Now you can invoke a GCP function or Azure function or S3 bucket.
The Kafka integration is the new one, right? That's integrated Kafka bridge. And again, that's running in the broker. It's running like it's not a connector. It's not an app, a software bridge. It is the broker talking directly to the Kafka. So no other.
There are two versions, right? One is the Kafka bridge, and then there's also a connector for Kafka where you can treat that as a sync.
Solace Connect, that exists as in the Solace Connect environment. So that's so correct. multiple ways of talking to
into a Kafka cluster. We have platform native connectors, and that is where we have software that runs in the target platform. So connectors into Spark and Flink, and importantly, iPaaS connectors into Boomi and Mule and SAP.
These also the power, right? So all these platforms, they are kind of a chunky, clunky on their own, creating a greater business value. Integrating with them is always good for enterprise, no question. But then the Boomi and the MuleSoft stands out because they've already connected enterprises in the API way, right? Now, by bringing our connectors, talking events, and tapping into their ecosystem, that's a power of 2 in 1.
Right? So we connect into your iPaaS. And then over the last while, we've been releasing more and more self-contained connectors. Self-contained connectors connect a source system to the Solace Event Mesh or the Solace Event Mesh to a target system. So for example, an IBM connector, an IBM MQ connector that takes messages from MQ, pushes them onto the event mesh from your on-premise systems or your mainframe. And then that allows the mesh to distribute these events.
These are almost always an
Google
app,
PubSub
right? An app that's connecting the two things. So
or into your favorite database.
We can write our own connector.
And all these self-contained connectors are self-deployed Java applications that have a common administrative and management interface.
And you probably get more flexibility, right? Because like you can control that application more than like something that's built into the product or built into.
Absolutely. You can tap into the underlying technology, like, use the MQTT to talk to your smart city environment, right? An adapter for a connector for managing your traffic lights, right? Similarly, Spring-based applications can open up doors for more real-world problems. So you can tackle this at a technology level or tap into the existing enterprise systems, storage-based systems like databases and other things. And for me, the fascinating thing is the CDC, the change data capture, that kind of normalizes interaction with anything that is generating log for their activity, right? So this is where I believe the modern enterprises could tap in and build connectors to their own ecosystem, custom applications and so on.
And with the beauty of publish subscribe plus event mesh means that once this data onto the mesh, you can have any number of apps just listening, right? So like the value of that data, once you put it out of a point-to-point connection onto the mesh, just is exponentially grows because you can have any app anywhere pulling, well, with ACLs and security and everything, but you could just tap into that, right? And that's just that's cool. All right.
Absolutely. When we see demo from Andrew, the one thing that caught my attention is Google PubSub. It's already doing some form of a PubSub EDA, right? Now, using our connectors, we are integrating brokers. It's not just applications and systems. We can integrate brokers. Anyway, let me proceed with this.
Over 50 event-driven connectors.
As of today,
not only do we support a growing number of connectors and self-contained connectors, we have a connector manager that makes management of these self-contained connectors simpler and efficient. And now we've gotten to the point in our discussion where I'm delighted to get to our third demo. where we're going to
Delighted.
focus on the mechanics,
Let's
of
go.
and management, and all
We
the
love
metrics
delighted
and everything
stuff.
that's available to you.
So I want to call out this integration hub.
Yeah.
Go and check it out. I put the URL over there.
I put the link. Great. Thanks, Giri.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So this is the place where you can look into all these 50 plus that we are discussing today, and it is a growing list, and it's pretty self-contained. As time permits, I'll just showcase that page also. Let's go to the demo
on
quickly.
to our third demo.
All right, let's get the setting as to what being demoed here first.
Product manager here at Solace, and I primarily deal with integration. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I have a use case where I'd like to.
This is the web page, the integration hub.
Order fulfillment data that is
can kind of
in applications.
Filter them based on your asset type, category, and so on.
I would like to make that order fulfillment data available to other application groups within my organization who cannot access it directly from Google Cloud, because that's not where they do their development of their applications. So I need a connector that will connect my Google Pub Sub to a Pub Sub Plus event broker where other groups can use it. So I'm going to start off by getting the Google Pub Sub.
So you got the.
So this is a brand new home.
Kind of a Google Pub Sub is doing what it's doing, generating order fulfillment information, and you want to consume on an enterprise app that's probably on-prem. Like that's what it's going to demonstrate.
Or in a different cloud, maybe, right? Like these cloud native technologies only exist within that one cloud. So
I get a bunch of results, different types of connectors and different types of integration.
These are you can locate what you want, what's available.
But the one I'm going to use today is this Google.
So we're going to be pulling stuff out of Google.
So there's a bunch of information about this. Some additional.
So on this page, pretty much, it's just getting started with Google Pub Sub connector per se. Documentation, if it is a downloadable one, how to download, how to use, and probably some references, and so on. This is available for every single connector we have on the hub.
No resources.
Let's keep an eye on this
I can
portal or other
read the
page.
documentation before. Maybe I want to do some research on how to configure it before I actually deploy it.
That's all right. So I'm going to skip and get to the demo part.
Sure.
That it's close to both configure it. If I look at my VS Code, so
there's some
imagine
code.
this is a clean show, and I've done all the prep work in advance, and we're just going to do the final browning of the top of this configuration. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring that Google data into a broker, and so I have a subscription in Google Pub Sub.
This is YAML, I guess,
AMAC fulfillment.
This looks like
it's YAML.
And where I'm going to then take that
Spring Cloud Stream. Does it ring a bell?
Yeah, it looks like I was going to say it looks like very much like Spring Cloud Stream config.
It is.
Yeah.
Solace Broker.
Okay.
Called
That's why.
performance. Okay, so that's the final time.
See, if you notice here, there's a binding, and the input is coming from Google Pub Sub using Pub Sub binder. That's for the Google GCP, and then the output is an event on a topic to a Solace broker. Right.
Yep.
This is a classic Spring Cloud Stream way of integration or connecting to applications. Right. So the binder, of course, I need to call out. We have a Spring Cloud Stream binder for Solace, which is what is being referred to here.
So this is a one-in, one-out connection. This is a
If I
processor.
start off my
app,
connector,
yeah.
That is
go
correct.
back to my.
So technically speaking, what you're looking at as a workflow here, for this, you need to refer to the connector documentation. You can have up to 20 workflows, at least for the GCP one. Each workflow can refer to a particular binding. What is an input? What is an output? Right? Yeah. And you can all those features would become a manageable configuration. That's why the connector becomes central thing, which was the
browser. The way that we're going to view this is from within
there we go.
Connector Manager.
Nice.
So Connector Manager is
Very
a top-level view of all your self-contained connectors.
GUIs over console text. I don't know.
It provides a centralized configuration storage, but then also a top-level sort of monitoring view of all these connectors. So you can see here I have 3 different connectors instances. I have one for SNS, this one I just started for Google Pub Sub, and an IBM MQ one as well. So if I drill down into the Google Pub Sub that I just started, I can see that it has a bunch of information about
the nice. That's actually pretty neat.
Status of this connector. So I can see that it's quite healthy, a series of health.
So this is runtime information. This isn't configuration as well. This is like
not at all.
Running.
Connector is about monitoring, right?
Yeah.
So at least the page that we are looking at is all the health and metrics of the connector.
Up, some environmental information. So This is the PID that's running with.
It comes down to the type of
definitely.
connector that you have. If it is built on Java and Spring, you have
It's
truckload
JMX
of information available. Here, there we go. So we tap into that, and then there's a lot of information that can be shared. But of course, you can manage the configuration also from the same page. So I'm going to skip these parts. I would highly recommend watch the video.
That's cool.
It gives a brief intro on the connector manager part. I will skip these things. And of course, the highlight is, let me get to that part straight away. Metrics is good. The logging is the most important piece, right? As to what's happening. And
remotely viewing the logging of your different things, eh? Okay.
Absolutely. And then you tap into the native capabilities of Java. You can have a log appender that can push it straight to the Splunk or maybe some other system that you want, because you want to do a remote analysis of your log. So all those features are inbuilt in this connector manager. But if anybody noticed, it's running on a local machine or whatever it is, right? As of now, it's a standalone connector manager running on your local machine. But as Andrew will call out, in the near future, we will have a cloud-managed connector, cloud-hosted connector manager very soon. I'm going to start the demo now.
Which is what this is.
So log is good. So you can route it, view it.
In VS Code.
This is a workflow, right? So what we configured, there's an input binding, picks up an event from data source on a topic like AMAC fulfillment orders from Google PubSub, and it outputs it to Solace on a topic of fulfillment orders. That's all this workflow is. You can turn it on, turn it off, control it independently. Yeah.
And this is showing that this is the topic we're.
I'm going to skip this. I know. The interest of time I'm doing this. Sorry about that.
To do that is I would go into the broker manager that has that queue that I was being asked data.
Okay. The point is, we're talking about a queue that's going to receive these messages from the Google PubSub, right? So
and the way that I would
you still need to manually provision it for now. Automation like dSEMP could kick in later.
That I was being accessed by the IBM MQ connector. And if I look at the queues here, I see that one's here. And if I add a subscription to fulfillment/orders, now
wait for the magic.
This queue is subscribed to that data. And if I start feeding data through my Google PubSub, see that the messages are coming. Now, if I look in IBM MQ Queue Manager, I can see that these orders are coming in from Google PubSub down into.
Oh, that's very neat. Very, very neat. Yeah, yeah.
So you do the publish activity on the PubSub, whatever comes through, hits the connector, then the Solace event mesh, on the other side, queue, and then into IBM. So it's a wonderful end-to-end flow orchestrated to a single broker.
And the nice thing about it, like once the event is in the mesh from your PubSub, like, yes, you have configured the MQ connector, but you can also access it from anything. You can have a subscriber that connects to the mesh and gets this data. So not just necessary to
JavaScript on MQTT or wherever.
Exactly. Yeah. You can have a snooper into this. Yeah.
So that's the power of event-driven integration, is that I'm totally decoupling the ingress
this is a key point.
Google PubSub event data from the egress or the use of it within an IBM MQ based application.
Two distinct independent systems.
So that's all I have.
Just for the connector.
As Sean mentioned, this is an area where Solace is focusing quite heavily on in the next while around event-driven integration. And it's going to be a really fun time. We have lots more new connectors coming. We have different ways that we're going to be able to deploy them and increase functionality as we go. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great time.
That's it from my side. So watch out for this space. There's a lot of things happening in connectors, and it is the foundation for event-driven integration that we talk about. Right?
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of a lot of information coming or stuff coming out about that. So I just want to before we get to the last section, there's a comment here from Barris. Hello from Isabel. So SAP Advanced Event Mesh using the event portal. I would say you're going to have to talk to your friendly local SAP or Solace account team to find out if that's possible. I would hope so. I'm pretty sure it is, but I don't think any of us can actually speak to that concretely, right, guys? I'm
Yeah.
sure that it's being offered in beta to SAP as part of the SAP event portal. So probably, but
I just responded back to Barris as well on LinkedIn. Replied back to your comment on this. It's feel free to reach out, and as well for anyone on the stream right now watching, if you have any further information or questions about this, we do have our Solace community that I'm pretty sure Aaron mentioned, and we'll talk more about it. Is once you join there, there's a lot of people as well from the community who are not just Solace employees that might have had the same questions as you, asking it on Solace community, and you could interact over there. So it's very easy sign up and creating a profile there on the solace.community. That's
right. So listen, guys, we are actually over the hour. I'm wondering, do you think we should? I really do want to show this AI demo because I think it's probably the most cool piece of the entire product update.
Yes.
So if it's okay with you, I would like to play it. Ed's demo here. I'm a big lover of demos. I think Ed does some pretty awesome ones, including that ball demo that we saw earlier that Rob uses all the time.
It is.
But so apologies out there if you're listening. We do like to talk about our tech, and we have run a bit late. But if you're willing to stick around, please do. I think you're going to be happy to see this this next demo here. Apologies, there's some construction people showed up in the office, so I'm hoping they don't start for the next 20 minutes or so here. So let me cue this up here. There we go. All right, I'm just going to share the screen back to me. All right.
So now let's move on to our last demo, which is about event-enabling AI applications. So in real life, we have people and places and things that all seem to get smarter and smarter with all kinds of
once you get off your screen,
interact with each other.
Yeah.
What's that?
All the applications that people use.
Everything's becoming connected, man. Like thermostats, doorbells, fridges, furnaces.
My shoelace on my shoes.
Like text processing,
smart shoelace
models.
Yeah.
And so much more.
Oh, I'm untied.
And what's really missing is mesh to connect these together and to enable application connectivity that is real-time, reliable, and ubiquitous. And the event mesh is what allows you to do that and to take events from the human world.
Quick question from Running Roach here. It's cloud managed only? I don't know. I don't think so. Can you run it on-prem, Giri? Do you know?
Yes, you can. You can.
Yeah. Because we would assume that people would be running these connectors on-prem with their hardware and software brokers, and they probably would want that managed on-prem as well. So I'm 90%
coming is
sure.
a cloud managed connector. Cloud-based connector manager is coming in the future. So right now, it's, you will be running Azure.
Okay, got it. Cool.
And selectively have them consumed by the right AI applications, and then processed, and then more events coming from AI to be able to create composite applications that work together to react to the human events and to make our world better. And AI and event-driven are really natural partners. Yeah. So does that sound way out there in the future to you? Well, I don't want to steal the thunder from the next demo, but without further delay, let's pull our recording of a use case that we did to show AI and events working together to make a real difference in our lives.
Hi, I'm Ed Vonderklatter, the Chief Architect guy here at Solace.
AI guy.
Today I'm going to demonstrate the power of connecting AI agents into the Solace event mesh. In this particular application, I'm simulating a fully autonomous incident management system. And as you can see in this diagram, we have a few different ways of getting reports into the system. We have employees who can send in chat messages. We have security guards who have a two-way radio, and there's some security cameras.
Cool.
On the right-hand side, we see that there's incident response systems. These receive events from the event mesh, and they are such things as alarm systems, emergency services, or the building facilities. Finally, in the middle, we've got a simple management application that can coordinate some of the events. But the real strength of the system is in the AI-attached agents. These agents can do different functions, such as speech to text and so on, and we also have attached a large language model to perform more detailed analysis operations. And now I'm going to show you the demonstration. Here we have the incident management dashboard. Currently it's empty.
Even as a GUI.
Nice. Love GUIs, yes.
And it's
created an
hackable.
application
What is that?
to represent the
It
different
shows the rooms
responders to the
too.
incident.
Yeah.
We've got building alarm and different services. On the left, I can add participants into
With
the
mouse
building
overs.
so that we can create some reports that the incident manager has to respond to. In the kitchen, I'll add just a normal bystander, and I will also add a guard to the kitchen. So I can create an incident now. And the bystander in the kitchen just noticed that someone has passed out. So they send that into the system. And what will happen is that application will just simply publish it into the event mesh. And the management application happens to be subscribed to that type of event and will receive it. We can see here on our dashboard that it has now received a report. It doesn't really know what to do with that. So what it does is publish into the event mesh a large language model request to elaborate and analyze that report. We just got the response back, and we can see that the large language model decided on alert level 3. It's given a title and description to this particular incident, and it's also alerted the ambulance service. It's also sent a message to the guard to confirm the situation in the kitchen.
So like this management app is not a security person, management person sitting there. It's literally just an app that gets this thing. It doesn't know what to do. So it spits it out to this AI who then tells it what to do. And all these events are just being generated. I mean, that's pretty cool.
We can come over here and see that the service was properly evented to, and the ambulance will now actually respond to the situation. And the security guard received a message to confirm the situation. So I'll pretend.
Does the ambulance service has an API? Like, how do we call the ambulance service?
What's going on in the kitchen?
I think it's just the ambulance service is connected to the mesh. The mesh.
Have confirmed that someone.
Oh, this is cool. Hold on, I missed it.
Still
so he's basically he's doing voice recording.
Security guard.
He's a security guard.
The system know that what's
going on.
Has
the walkie-talkie.
Hi, security guard here. I'm in the kitchen. I have confirmed that someone did pass out. They are still unconscious, but they are breathing.
Cool.
So he recorded himself and sent it to the mesh.
In this particular case, this two-way radio is enabled with some
great demo would be on Metaverse,
protocol that lets it publish audio events into this. And now the speech-to-text model will subscribe to that and receive it. It will quickly do a transcription and publish it back into the event mesh. And the management application, which subscribes to transcribed audio events, should receive it. We can see here that it did receive it. Hi, security guard here. And it's actually already gone to the large language model and received the next set of actions. And we can see right here, we say that to the building services that they should send immediate medical support to the kitchen. They've messaged to the original employee to thank them for the report. And they've actually put out an audio announcement into the kitchen saying that there's a medical emergency in progress. We can see all of that over here. The bystander again through the event mesh got that message, and the building services were also alerted to do something.
Magic.
So time passes and the ambulance comes, the security guard oversees it, and now it's realized the whole thing has been cleaned up. So it can now send in another report. Hi, security guard here in the kitchen. The ambulance has arrived. They've treated the person and taken them to the hospital. The kitchen is now clear. This gets published back into the event mesh, and already it's being transcribed, and the incident management system is now sending to the large language model a request to process this.
Whoop.
He's waiting for the events to show up. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, did the video pause?
Here we can see that it's closed off the incident. It's now over here, sent a broadcast message to say that the kitchen is clear, and it's closed off the alerts to the different services. Thank you for watching this demonstration. I hope this shows you the power of connecting AI agents into distributed applications using event-driven architecture. The combination of real-time asynchronous events, along with the intelligence provided by large language models, can really produce great things.
Nice one. Yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, cloud managed. That's we're talking about connectors there at some point. So let's we'll have probably Andrew come back on and talk about cloud managed connectors.
Yeah,
at some
we'll have
point.
to have him on.
Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? There's a comment here from Warren. Warren, it's so cool to see all of Solace's developments in the event-driven architecture space. Yes, thank you. I agree. We agree.
Thank you.
Thanks for the comment there. All right, gents. Well, listen, we
Thank you
are
very much,
20 minutes
Warren.
over. I mean, I never said it was exactly 1 hour, so maybe I planned it to be exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes. But
Come on.
thanks both for doing this kind of truly global international office hours with me. We're spread across.
I'm still in the past. You're still in the future. It's still February
That's right.
27th
Yeah,
here in
it's not-
Vancouver,
yeah.
Canada. Yes.
Are you guys planning anything interesting for the 29th on your leap day to celebrate it being, I don't know, unusual
Celebrate
once a
Leap
four?
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I'm definitely gonna have to find something to celebrate Leap Day, and it's once every 4 years. Like it has to be something.
Exactly.
special.
Yeah, I feel bad for people
Yeah,
with birthdays on February 29th.
So yeah.
Well, I kind of don't, because they grow 1 year older every 4 years. That's nice.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
See,
Yeah.
if you think about
your
it,
actual
this way,
aging
yeah.
process is determined by our random
Yeah.
Gregorian calendar. So,
Yeah.
thanks everybody
Great.
for tuning in to another office hours. If you didn't catch the last one, it was just before Christmas in December, where I was in the lab at Solace headquarters in Ottawa, and I did a show and tell with our operations manager Blair on the Solace hardware appliance. So if you've never seen a Solace hardware appliance up close, we did a teardown and a reinstall, and we pulled out the cards and we looked at it. So
Such a cool
Solace is
video.
more than software.
Definitely
It's
watch
pretty
it.
cool video. It's pretty
Yeah.
quick. It was a bit janky because I had to use my webcam as a mic. So I'm kind of, anyway, it was a bit guerrilla style.
Yeah.
I got to buy some more like clip-on mics, I think. But anyway, check that out. I don't know what exactly my next month is going to be. Maybe it'll be Event Portal. I might be more on integrations, but stay tuned. Again, check us out on YouTube. There's the QR code that way over there. Scan that and join
Over
the
there,
Solace.
sorry.
Nope, wrong corner, wrong way.
Well, this is
You're
this is where it is at my end.
Oh, you guys are both pointing
yeah.
to the left. I don't.
Yeah,
Maybe
this
we
is
have
my end.
our videos are mirrored. Our videos are mirrored.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think
Yeah.
so.
come find us on Solace Community. All of us hang out there. We answer lots of questions. We post things that we like and know about. Thanks, guys. Any last words before we end up here?
No, just if anybody has any requests, Solace Community, we're available, and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, afternoon, wherever you're joining us from, anywhere in the world. That would be great. And Aaron, thanks for putting this together. I definitely had a great time chatting and discussing about different features that we have down the road.
I echo the same. Wonderful. Just keep an eye on this guy, Aaron. He's all over the place. YouTube, believe me, fantastic videos. I've heard a first-hand comment from people that, oh, the topic hierarchy guy. Okay, right. So
Yeah, that's coming. That'll be
of
coming soon too. Yeah.
wonderful videos. Make
Visualization
use
on
of
that.
them. And then, of course, community is there. Reach out to us.
Cool.
Looking forward to interact with you guys more.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right.
Aaron.
Thanks, everybody.
Wonderful question.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy your February 29th. And we'll see you next month. All right. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.